Join UF Hall of Famer and 14-year NFL vet Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning. It's a live edition, a Tuesday edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. We got a good show lined up today. We'll have Buddy Martin from the Buddy Martin Show. You can listen to him Monday through Thursday or Friday sometimes, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on YouTube, all your different podcast platforms. We'll have Chris Harry from FloridaGators.com. Gators, he travels with the basketball team. He's at every practice. Very close to the program. We'll get his thoughts on tonight's game against Oklahoma, the health status of a lot of our players, and a few other things. But let's go to the Titan MR hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp, and it's the one and the only Buddy Martin. Good morning, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Shane. Good morning to you here from beautiful, the Gulf of America, right out my window here. You see it. It's St. Andrews Bay. What a gorgeous place.
Buddy, have you stepped foot into the Gulf of America since it's been renamed?
I need to do that, don't I? I need to go out.
Yeah, you need to go swim with the dolphins, buddy.
Yeah, I got some out my door right here. I mean, literally, it's like 20 feet from my door right out here, and I could do that. Report back to you next week.
We may need to call the paramedics just in case. Are you a great swimmer, buddy?
Oh, they'll be with me. Don't worry.
Okay.
I wouldn't go without them.
I hear.
I'm a terrible swimmer. Are you a great swimmer, Shane?
I was a very good swimmer as a kid. I grew up in North Mississippi and Cleveland, Mississippi, where they had a small college called Delta State University.
Yeah.
And somehow I got stuck in it's one of those deals where mom and dad send you to swim camp on campus.
Yeah.
Just basically babysit when you're young. And those damn swim coaches at Delta State tried to convince me to become a swimmer through high school and college. I was like, no.
You know, I can see that. You're long and lean.
Yeah. I was a very good swimmer, but I had no interest in the way they train. They're crazy.
It's brutal. Have you ever heard of Silver Springs, Florida?
Yeah.
Silver Springs?
Yeah.
That's where I grew up swimming, in the springs. That was our pool.
So you swam with the manatees.
Oh, no, that's homosexual. Manatees in the Silver Springs. They migrated backwards. We're talking about a beautiful, gorgeous area right there, 5 miles from downtown Ocala. And manatees are in Homosassa. They're west, but this is Springs. And we would literally catch the bus and go out there and have swimming lessons in the springs. Now people will die to swim in the Silver Springs. It's beautiful. Anyway, we digress.
Yeah. Yes, we do. All right, buddy. Let's start first with basketball. Your thoughts? Obviously, they're the number 2 team in America right now. They're sitting very nicely to get a number 1 overall seed once March Madness hits. Play Oklahoma tonight. You say it should be a win. It should, but you never know in this conference.
Very true, Shane. And I had an epiphany about this team this morning when I was up at 4 o'clock preparing for your show. And I thought about why. Our friend Freddie Weavy, right? He's your associate here. He has a course that he have like once a year, twice a year, called the Dale Carnegie course. Do you know what that is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Dale Carnegie, for those who don't know, was a famous, I guess the first self-help book anybody ever read was probably How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, who was, by the way, from a poor family in Missouri. I think he might have graduated from Southern Missouri, but I mean, he has this course they teach, and people know that they can take it and learn how, if they care to, how to make people like them. Shane, do you think people like you?
I'm pretty likable, buddy.
You are. Yes, you are. But maybe you could use a little trip out there to see Freddie and do the Dale Carnegie course, How to Win Friends and Influence People. However, having said that,
friends, buddy.
No, that's not what it's about. It's See, that's the opposite of what he wants you to do. I got friends out
No,
there.
I know exact. I know that course very well.
Okay, well, good. But
About
there are a lot of
leadership
people,
skills and all that stuff. I
yes,
feel like I got pretty good leadership
a lot
skills.
of people don't. You don't really need it because you're a very influential person, and people do like you. You are there. But you know why I'm bringing this up?
Wow.
I think this basketball team is something special, no matter what happens from here on. And last night we had a good conversation, you and I and Franz Beard, and later Kevin Brockway came on. He said, "Oh, I missed Shane. I wanted to talk to him about the '04s, what kind of team they were versus this team, etc." Don't get carried away, is it? But the bottom line is, I think, is that this basketball team is the Dale Carnegie team for us. You know why? At a time when people are sick and tired of college sports and athletes, I mean, literally, you hear it all the time. They are coming along. They're doing the exact thing that America wants out of the sports team, Shane. They're playing hard. They're showing up. They have a great sense of camaraderie. They're a bunch of three stars playing out of their heads. And they've got a squad. I mean, they literally have 10 players. They could play 10 players, Shane. And they're making me really like basketball and college sports. And to be honest with you, in a way, better than football because of what they're doing. They're such a fun team to watch. They give you the best they got every night. They show up, and they're the number 2 team in the country, Shane. This is a great time to be a basketball fan, and particularly a Gator basketball fan.
Yeah, I'm going to ask Chris Harry because I agree with everything you just stated. What I notice out of this, I watch more than just the action on the court. I like to watch what's going on the bench, buddy.
Yeah.
And this team is together. Now, obviously, winning cures a lot of issues, right? But you are an athlete. Most of the people that listen to our program were athletes at some point. Guys want to play, right? And now, you know, some people may not get as much playing time as others, but do they pout or do they support their teammates? And from what I can tell, and I want to ask Chris Harry this because he's around them on the planes at the
He knows
hotel.
everything. He's the best. He's the best guy. He knows
Yeah, I
everything.
mean, so I'm just I want to know, is it like what I see? You know,
Great
does this
question.
team really care about one another? I think they do. I think the coaching staff's done a phenomenal job, and it's been fun to watch. There's no question about it. It's deep, and I guess what I'm saying is everybody wants to play, and obviously look at Denzel Aberdeen. He comes off the bench. I know he started the last few games. I think
Yeah.
he will go back to coming off the bench, but he could easily say, you know what, I want to go into the portal and get out of here because I'm not getting enough playing time. But anyway, they're a very good basketball team.
Shane, I'm not sure he should go back to the bench. I understand he probably will. Although, as Franz Beard said last night in a really interesting conversation you should have been a part of, he and Kevin Brockway are really knowledgeable. And next to Chris Harry, they're probably the 2 best guys around knowing about the team. And we talked about this. And I brought up the Elijah Martin thing. It might have been on your show 2 weeks ago, whatever. And I said, "Oh, no. He'll never come off the bench." But how do you sit Denzel Aberdeen? How do you sit him? He has been fantastic. The numbers right off last night. He has done everything and then some. There's a certain chemistry about the team when he's on the court. And you don't ever want to tamper with that chemistry. And and the other thing is, Shane's very key. You can ask Chris this. You can have too many really good players because they can't play 10. They can't play. There was a story yesterday about that. Can they play 10? But this team has got so many likable people that I think I'm sorry, Brendan's calling me. Brendan, I'm on the air. But they got so many really good, likable players, and they play hard. They dive for balls. I mean, Condon is an amazing story. Who is the 6th man of the year? It may have 2 of them on one team.
Good. Rose State Farm offers a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visit ogreinsurance.com. Give them a call at 352-240-1779. Buddies, on the Titan Tomorrow hotline, courtesy of Comfort Tent, we'll have Chris Harry, second portion of the program. Mark on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says this team is very good, but there are many good teams in the country. It's the team that gets hot in March. Agree. I just pulled up the AP, because it just popped up on my phone, AP top 25. I'm looking at the top 10.
Hmm?
I personally think any one of these teams in the top 10 can win the national title. It's Auburn, Florida, Duke, Alabama, Houston, Tennessee, Texas A&M, Iowa State, Texas Tech, and St. John's. And then later on, you got Missouri's and some other teams in here. But I think your national champion will come from one of those 10 teams because I think those 10 teams are very, very good. So,
It's a nice little story, but St. John's ain't winning the national championship despite the
buddy,
people.
they're good.
I know, but good's not good enough. It's a team. But let me get back to one point here. I hear what Mark is saying. I'm not talking about who will win the national championship. I'm talking about a team coming along to heal the wounds the college football NIL damage has done. You deal with it every single day on your show. How come these people are so greedy? Why don't they play hard? They ought to be great. It seems to me these guys are playing hard, having a good time, and they're ranked the number 2 team in the country. That's the ideal kind of sports team in college sports right now.
Yeah, Barone 71 says Florida has the formula for success, veteran and elite guard play.
Yeah.
That's the key. Height, strong defense in the paint, and shooters. Yeah, I think our guard play is phenomenal. I still think Walter Clayton Jr. is the best basketball player I've seen in my Gator lifetime, in my opinion.
That's a lot. That's a
Yeah.
lot. He's certainly great. So, but you know what? On a given night, Denzel Aberdeen looks great too, and
Yeah.
and Condon is amazing, and and look at look who's hurt. I mean, getting Handglode back. That was a moment there that we didn't talk about last night. Happened over the weekend. Handglode coming back on the floor. It was a great outpouring of love and respect. What number is he, by the way?
Who?
Handglode. Is he 25? Number
Michael
25?
Hanglotten? He's number 3.
Who wears 25?
We don't have anybody who wears number
Well,
25.
because all the whole student section had number.
Because it's 2025.
Okay.
That's
All
what
right.
they do when the PR department gives away stuff with numbers on it.
Oh, okay.
They
Thank
give
you.
the year
I
we're
knew
in.
you would know that. I knew you'd know that.
Yeah. Mark says, Shane, you never saw Vernon Maxwell. No, I didn't.
Yeah, he was a great player.
He was gone before I got here.
Sure. You know, he supposedly, there's some question about this.
And I know Vernon Maxwell is very good. I'm talking about since I've been walking into the O'Connell Center.
Supposedly, Shane, and you can read it, France can tell you, he made the first 3-point basket ever made.
Really?
Supposedly. Yeah, someone else could tell you, but that's the word, is that Vernon Maxwell, who was a scorer, bit of a ball hog, but a great scorer and a great shooter.
Well, you ever seen a great player not be a ball hog?
Well, that's one thing I like about it. Steve said last night. They all want the ball, yet they share the ball. That's a great guy. Anybody will take it. I mean, you take that, look at that bench. Guys come off there and shoot it up and knock down a 3 off the bench. They just got to. In fact, I looked up the depth of this team. There's so many good teams. There's so many good players. I love watching it. It's fun watching basketball. And I'll be honest with you, right now, as much as I love football, I don't miss it. I really love the basketball team.
Yeah. Andy says on Facebook Live, Shane, you were supposed to have Vernon on the show. Yeah, we were. I actually spoke with Vernon on the phone and texted him multiple times there during that week, and it was a no-show. So that happens.
That was the problem in life and in basketball right there.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Text on the Titan MR text line from James. He says, buddy, who is more elite right now? Basketball, lacrosse, baseball, or softball, or gymnastics?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could go down the list. Gymnastics has not been elite. They've been elite, but they have not had their best year. They lost a meet, which is unusual for them. Softball lost a game. I think they're elite. There's no question. At this moment today, right now, as you ask me this question, I'm going to say basketball because they're the number 2 team in the country.
Well, the number 1 team is softball.
Yeah, I understand that. You asked me about it, but they haven't played enough games yet. They will be. They'll go. Let's say who was going to be elite. They're going to be elite. You said right now. I just told you why. It's not just because of. It's because of what they've done for college sports. They kind of have rescued college sports. So I'm going to go with basketball right now. I don't know. Next week it could be different.
Yes, it could for sure. All right, this day in sports brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Put some star power to work in your financial life at Campus USA Credit Union. In 2019, NHL hockey team owner of the Carolina Hurricanes, Tom Dundon, agrees to invest $250 million into the Alliance of American Football. He was named the new chairman of the AAF. Remember, that's what Coach Spurrier coached in with the
I do remember that very well. I wish it would have made it.
Yep. Yes, for sure. All right, buddy. Just your thoughts, football wise. The Gators hired a new corners coach. What do you know about him? What did you learn about him?
I don't know much more than you do about him. And it's that he did coach here one time. I didn't know that. I guess 2022. He coached, and he had gone on to coach 2 years in the secondary at Arkansas. He was hired to be the defensive coordinator at Georgia State, and Billy dipped down and got him when he had to make the change. Surprised me. I didn't know they were going to add another defensive coach, but I didn't know. Now, here's the news today. You know, sometimes rumors can be news, sometimes they can be terrible. But the word on the street today is that Will Harris has not gone to Miami. He's wiped out his entire stuff on his social media of Miami and going to the NFL, Shane, going to coach it, not going to Miami. There's a big one right there for Florida.
Well, yeah. I mean, if he goes, he ain't playing. That's the thing. He's not going to be out there playing for whoever he goes to.
You can't steal players.
Yeah, I don't know how many people are going to go to Miami.
Well, one has already.
From our team?
Yes.
What? Who?
The recruiting class kids.
Oh,
Somebody help me out, Andy.
I could care less about that.
Shane, you can't say you could care less because you
Buddy,
go by.
Nobody from this year's recruiting class is going.
True, but they've lost one of their prize class that they've got.
So I read about that kid. I don't think that kid's academically eligible.
Could possibly. Didn't he commit to Florida State originally?
I don't know, but I know you're.
I mean, I'm trying to find this out, Shane.
Yeah, but I don't think he was going to be able to get into school here. But that's a 2026. He's got time to get his GPA up.
Keep in mind, he could in Miami influence certain guys to leave.
Yeah, possibly.
And
control what you can control, buddy. You're worrying about stuff we can't control.
Shane, it's my job as a talk show host.
I understand that.
You are too, by the way. You're a talk show.
I know that, but I can't control what Will Harris does.
Well, Shane, you can't control anything in a football field either.
No.
But you talk about
it, but
because you're an expert in it.
I wouldn't say I'm an expert. I know a lot, but I'm not an expert. But
wait. What qualifies an expert? If a guy who played was MVP in the SEC 2 years, won Florida's first SEC championship, played in the league for 14 years for 4 teams at quarterback, is not an expert? Who is, for crying out loud? Shane, you are the epitome of an expert.
Reggie says on Facebook Live, why are we worried about a coach that has been with 5 teams in as many years?
Okay.
So
we're all bulletproof. We don't have to worry about it. Forget why you guys drive us crazy with recruiting, because you care about it. I don't know the answers. I'm just saying the fact that he's not in Miami.
What I like to, again, and this is just my opinion, whether I'm a sports talk host show here or whatever, you can only sign so many players. You can't have them all. So if a kid decides to leave, that's fine. We got plenty of other ones. Tim says the Gator softball team can't win the big game. I have no idea. Tim obviously has never watched Lady Gator softball.
They beat Duke and they lost to Duke, and Duke's an actually ranked team.
Yeah, I have no idea what he's talking about. Mark asked here on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Kyle Trask is a free agent. Where does he end up? I don't think the Bucks will resign him. I do not know. I could actually ask my son. He's very close to Kyle.
How about doing that? Use your sources. You got people that know things, Shane. Bring it to us. Come on.
Well, I don't think they talk much football when they talk. But yeah, I know Trask is getting married here in about a month. I do know that. You want that information, buddy?
Yeah, well, that's the important stuff right there.
Yeah. So, all right, buddy. Did you watch any of the baseball games this weekend?
I did not, because I've been at war with the cable TV people. I spent my entire day yesterday going out. By the way, if you need a television set, I'm telling you, by the way, one of the great deals of all time, and you you can't get, like me, I can't get the SEC network on my local TV here because my provider doesn't give it to me. They won't give it to me. I've been fighting them for 3 months about that. I get the big games on regular ESPN, but when I go to get SEC network plus, they won't give it to me. We don't provide that service, sir. It makes my blood boil. So I went out yesterday with my stepson, Tyler, who's one of the greatest guys of all time, and I went to resolve that. And I'm going to write it down. I'm going to tell you right now what you can do. You go to a Best Buy. I don't care wherever they sell it. I went to Best Buy. I bought a 50-inch TV, brand new, bought it home, hooked it up to a channel where I can now get everything. And I have two providers here now. This one cost me nothing except what
you got some illegal stuff. You just put it out there.
all legal. You know what it is?
What?
I'm gonna give it to you, Shane. If you want to listen up, write it down. Roku, ROK.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. But you get the TV. When you get the TV and you can stream, despite what your local provider gives you, you can stream around it and get the games that you need to get. And I can get the basketball, the football, but I can't get the baseball team, the softball team. Now I get it all with my brand new 50-inch Roku. How much did I pay for it, Shane? Get a guess.
You paid zero, but here's what I would tell you.
To buy the TV.
What I would tell you is just get YouTube TV and you get all that stuff you just wanted and you can watch games on your phone, buddy.
Well, listen, it's about $250 a month too, whatever it is.
No, YouTube TV is like $84 a month.
I've tried that too, Shane, and my provider doesn't give it to me here. I'm telling you.
You don't do it doesn't matter about your provider.
I'm telling
you. Get a Fire Stick.
Okay.
I'm just letting you know, buddy. You can live anywhere in America.
My question, Shane, how much did I pay for the TV?
You probably paid for a 50-inch at least $1,000.
$1,000? Wrong. Try again. Not even close.
Okay, I wasn't good on the Price is Right, obviously.
Go ahead. No, you weren't. You wouldn't be.
$500?
Wrong. Too high.
Damn, buddy. I hope your TV works.
Listen, I'm telling you something. Go try it.
I got plenty of TVs that work.
So I know you got 9 of them. So what's one more guess?
$295.
Too high.
Buddy, I'm afraid to look at this 50-inch TV.
200, I think it was $280 some. By the way, that's with everything. They wanted $250 to come in and install it. My guy, Tyler, and I put it together and put it on streaming, and we got it up and running for under $300. A 50-inch TV, and now I can get those games. How about that?
All right. Buddy, you'll come on here next week complaining that you couldn't find the Oklahoma, Florida basketball game.
Somebody look it up right now. Best Buy, look at Roku TV. They got a bunch of them there, and I'm telling you, it's a wonderful deal if you like that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
What other show gives you stuff like this, Shane?
I know.
Bargains of the century.
Yep. Hope it works after 2 months.
Don't be a smart ass, Shane.
I'm just reading people giving me prices on TVs now across the country. 80-inch TV, $399, Andy says.
Way too much. Way too much.
Way too much. That's an 80-inch though, buddy. It's way you probably need an 80-inch.
I get a 75 for under $500.
So you should get one of those too. You need to get multiple TVs so you can watch.
I've got 2 now. I'm gonna get a third one as soon as my front bedroom's ready. 75 inches, baby. Here I come. I'm gonna be wall to wall in video. My wife has given me this for my birthday, my anniversary, my wedding present, Valentine's Day, all that. She's giving it to me.
Only for $290. She got off easy, buddy. You should get more stuff than just the $295.
Listen, you're right about that.
TV.
Compared to what she got, she didn't get off. But you know what? She gives me a lot. So
all right, we got people chiming in, buddy, to help you out here.
Yeah, I told you that.
Yes, and this gentleman, Chris in Mayaca, says Roku doesn't give you SEC network for free. Buddy is bootlegging it and doesn't even know it.
I'm not bootlegging. I can tell you right now, It's not Roku. It's a Roku TV. It's not Roku. It's a Roku TV and the network. I know about Roku. Everybody knows about Roku. Go and check the price. Go and check it out and see. Tell me if I'm crazy. Now, I may have to re-up in the 30 days and pay a little bit more money for the service. I don't care. I don't care if I have to pay $150 a month. It's still a better deal, and I can get my games. But tell me where you get a better price on a TV. Better price than that. You laugh today, Shane, but tomorrow.
I'm laughing at Gator Art here on YouTube. He says, I picture Buddy tanning in a Ric Flair Florida Speedo on Pensacola Beach.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. Pensacola Beach, I don't need it. I got it right outside the door. I got St. Andrews Bay right here. The
Yeah.
golf, Buddy Martin, right here.
All right, buddy, who you got on your show tonight?
Well, it's Lauren's turn tonight. You'll have Rob Brown and the team. They're going to talk, who knows what about, probably softball, track, all these sports going on, so many things. But they should always remember Dale Carnegie, the basketball team, Todd Gold, number 2 in the country. They are making people, they're winning friends and influencing people, and it's been a great story for Gator fans. You better start loving it. I remember when Coach Spurrier, one thing he did to me, the first time you all were ranked preseason number 1. Was that 91, 92? Preseason number 1. He called me on my phone, left a message and said, your Gators are number 1, buddy. Aren't you excited? I thought, I hadn't thought about it. It was a great feeling. And of course, you guys lived up to it. And so this is a great feeling to see the basketball team. Dale Carnegie, number 2 in the nation. I'm loving every second of it.
Yes, indeed. Mike says, buddy, you get what you pay for.
These people are so smart. Okay.
Buddy, are we going to have this conversation in 2 weeks?
I'm saying come back next week and tell me you're sorry because you'll be doing it.
Buddy, you're going to come. I have a feeling you're going to come on next Tuesday, and you're going to be pissed off that you couldn't get the Gators against Bethune-Cookman in baseball. I think we played the Dayton Flyers, and you're not going to be able to get those games. You think
Yes,
you're
I
going to get them?
Yeah.
Okay.
If I could go join YouTube, I could do that. But I'm
I
just
hope
telling
you
you,
do.
Shane, you're missing the point. I bought a TV for less than $250, a 50-inch TV, and it gets the stuff I need. Okay? So no matter what happens now, I'm ahead. I'm playing with house money, Shane.
All right.
You just don't
All right,
listen.
buddy.
You don't
Well, do
listen.
this.
Shane.
Do
You
this.
never listen to me. You never listen.
I do listen.
One day you'll learn.
Go get you a
Gray
nice
hair.
cup of coffee and go watch what do you watch in the mornings, buddy? One of those Good Morning Americas or whatever?
No, I don't watch that. No, I go
The
to
Today
news.
Show.
Great. I go watch later on. I'll watch probably I'll catch up with world news.
World News. All right.
Fox News, or I'll go to CNN and get the news of the day. I don't start watching anything until after your show, until later in the afternoon.
All
And
right.
I'll be watching tonight the basketball game.
I hope that TV works,
Have a-
buddy. Have a good evening.
I'm gonna give you a TV report every dead gum Tuesday morning, and you're gonna eat your words.
All right. Well, I mean, look, I'm happy for you.
Mhm.
People just are worried about after your 3 free months, what's going to happen with.
Go buy. You know what? If it comes out to $600, I'm still ahead of the game.
Yeah.
I
All
got
right, buddy. Have a good day.
$1,000 TV, Shane.
We're going to go talk to somebody other than
Dale Carnegie.
We're going to ask Chris Harry. I bet Chris Harry has an old TV. He still has to get up and change the channels.
He probably has
All right.
3 channels.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Have a good day. That's Buddy Martin. Join us on the Titan No More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Take a quick time out. We come back. We'll be joined by senior writer from FloridaGators.com, Chris Harry, who has all the ins and outs of Gator basketball. You're watching and listening to PodUp Matthews in the Morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. We'll be right back.
Our premium sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union,
International Diamond Center,
Meldon Law, QC Kinetics, Dave & Buster's, UF Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute, JF Hayden Craft Liqueurs, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Los Linderos Tequila. Gridiron sponsors are Baker Sporting Goods, Cogent Bank, Comfort Temp, Electronics World, Florida Victorious, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Mills Cheesesteak, Celebrate Primary Care, Dowling Sign, Gator Bait Media, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, Okido America, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, Nest and Wow, MG&A Wealth Management. Watch and listen to us live on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. To become a sponsor, call my man Freddie at 352-284-3733.
Hi there, this is Coach Steve Spurrier, and I want to let you know that by popular demand, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill's delicious brunch is now served in a premium buffet. You have spoken, we have listened, and we're now serving Gainesville's only elevated buffet, complete with an omelet station, ginger sage chicken sausage, shredded short rib, and of course our chicken and waffles. Plus, you can enjoy bottomless mimosas and Bloody Marys. So join us every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 3 for the best brunch in town.
I'm tired of you living in pain, and I want you to get real lasting relief from chronic pain in your knees, back, shoulders, and hips. QC Kinetics can get you moving again with cutting-edge regenerative treatments with no drugs, no downtime, and no surgery. Stop putting it off. Call now and schedule your free consultation. Call QC Kinetics now in Gainesville, Ocala, and the Villages. 352-400-4550. 352-400-4550.
Welcome back to the International Diamond Center Studios. Florida Cracker is the brand for original Floridians. Great food and southern hospitality in the center of the universe, Brooksville, Florida, floridacracker.com. Back to the Titan Number Hotline, courtesy of Comfort's Inn. We're joined by senior writer Chris Harris from FloridaGators.com, who is the scoop guy for Gator basketball.
Scoop guy, okay.
The scoop guy. Chris, welcome to the program. First of all, I want to ask you, many of our listeners may or may not have known this, but last week, Chris Harry was the color analyst with Sean Kelly on the call. How'd that go? Did you enjoy it?
I think it was 2 weeks ago. It was a Vanderbilt game.
Did you enjoy it?
It's just different. I mean, you're used to doing stuff with the written word, and then it's a different kind of training. I had a couple people, of course, come up and give me the perfunctory, "You have a face for radio." I don't know if they'll ask me back. Maybe I have a flair for it also. But in the interim, I'll just sit by my laptop and bang out some stuff. How I did is probably a question for the people that were unfortunate enough to be listening to my analysis, and of course for Sean Kelly sitting there with me.
I listened to it. I thought you did a good job.
Thank you.
All right, let's start first. Injury report. Obviously, we do not. Just tell us who do you think's out tonight?
Alex Condon and Sam Alexis.
Okay. When do you expect those guys to possibly be back?
I mean, I've been doing this enough. I know that I see them in the training room, so I see what their ankles look like. They're swollen. One guy's is swollen more than the other. They're playing it day by day. What's impressive is the level of play that this team's been able to do with guys missing from the lineup, missing from the rotation. Think about it. I mean, Denzel Aberdeen has started the last 4 games, either the one for Walter Clayton, the next 2 for Elijah Martin, and he played so well in those 3 that they went ahead and started him when Elijah was available the other day. What Thomas Hawk's been able to do in relieving Alex Condon has been spectacular. I mean, both of them have been spectacular. So I got a story that's about to post in about 30 minutes or so about how 7 different players have scored at least 20. 7 different have scored at least 20. 7 different guys have been Ken Palm analytics MVPs for games. I think 7 different guys have been leading scorers on the team so far, or 6. I think Thomas hasn't been, but easily could be. He's been fantastic the last couple of games. But they play who they got, and it was funny after the game the other day. They said, "Once everyone's healthy, will you play 10?" And Todd Golden flat out goes, "I don't play 10, so somebody's not going to play." And he goes, it may be a different guy on a given night, circumstances depending. But right now, no Alex, no Sam Alexis. But as a guy who lived a pro, getting Micah Handlockton back in, on Valentine's Day and with a month left is kind of like it's an MLB team that's a buyer. making a deal. That's kind of what I compare it to. And you get a starting SEC player at 7'1", no less, one of the best offensive rebounders in the country, show up in late in the season for a stretch run. That kind of stuff doesn't happen very often.
No, it doesn't. And, I did not realize Todd Golden says, I do not play 10. My question to you is, this team is very deep and they're playing really well. I was telling Buddy this, obviously we got some really good skill players that have played really well, number 2 team in America. But I like to watch the bench. The bench tells you a lot, right? These guys get along, somebody getting
Yeah.
pissed off because they're getting minutes taken away. Talk about how these guys have how they feel about one another. But again, do you think taking minutes away from somebody, is that going to rub somebody the wrong way?
Well, I mean, it's in a normal world, it probably would. It starts at the top, man, with Todd and his assistants. There's the mission statement is to win as many games as possible and to win championships, and everyone's bought into it. Now, the energy at the end of the bench is always driven by walk-ons, but what you've seen and what you're referencing to the other day, just Alex Condon jumping up and down and Sam Alexis, cheering on their teammates. Now, given they can't play. But you've seen Urban Cloudsyard do it this year. You've seen Caius Kublickas do it, who hardly has played at all. If Elijah Martin has been sitting out, or Will Richard, they take a guy out for a reason. Maybe he made a mistake in a possession. They want to talk to him and sit him down for a little bit. It's been contagious on that end of the bench. And to your point, yes, and that's chemistry. That's Todd. If you go to a practice, you see how well these guys get along, and how the coaches interact with them, and it's just it's a good group that really enjoys each other. And when you're playing like they're playing right now, and it's 18 double-digit victories, is the second most in the country behind only Duke, and Florida's in a much harder conference than Duke is. Right now. That's not to say Duke isn't great. They're very they are a great team. They can win it all. But that's just how well they're playing together, and how they're getting along so well together.
Yeah. Zach's question on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. How many wins in the final 6 gets us a 1 seed in the tournament?
I mean, I'm just looking at these final 6 games. I mean, if
You got a stretch that's a little difficult with at Alabama. I think Ole Miss comes here, and I can't remember the other one.
It's A&M here, and they're number 6. And then there's Alabama on the road, and it's Ole Miss. So 2 of those 3 are at home. I mean, if you're talking about a 1 seed, there's very little margin for error. So they're in a 4-game stretch. They played 1 game that they could be double-digit favorites in all those games, with 2 road games, including 1 at Georgia. Georgia, no matter what anybody wants to say, is certainly capable of winning that game at home. And then what happens if you protect the home floor? You're in great shape going into the SEC tournament. In the SEC tournament, you could have 2 more games against top 10 teams, for God's sakes. So we'll see how that all plays out. But I mean, if you're looking at, usually it ends around 33, 34 games. I mean, if Florida is they're 22-3 right now, if they're 28-6, that's a pretty good record in this league. You got to see who some of those wins are against late in the season.
Yeah, I think if we go 4-2 or 5-1 and don't even worry about what you do in the tournament, I think you'll be a 1 seed, just because of the depth of the conference and how difficult it is. So, pretty remarkable. Oklahoma comes into town tonight. Chris, I don't know if you saw the end of their game the other night. I've never seen a team lose. They were ahead 7 points with 20 seconds left and lost the game. They have a pretty, I can't remember the kid's name, but their point guard is a true freshman. He's a pretty damn good player, right?
Jeremiah Fears.
Yes.
And if you watch the Jumpman Classic, they were playing Michigan, and they were down 3 with, I want to say, 10 seconds left, and he made a 3 and got fouled, and they won the game by 1 point. He's outstanding. Apparently, there's going to be more NBA scouts in the building tonight than there has been all season, and a lot of them, and they see him. Now, having said that, I talked to one of them yesterday. He's really he was a hot commodity coming in the season. He has hit a wall in conference play. I think, you look at his numbers and they're very good, but I think he's 35.7% from the floor in conference play and 21 from three. So you got to get up on him a little bit. A guy that I worry about, there's two guys actually. It's Jalen Moore is their leading scorer. He's a veteran. He's like a fourth year. He had 2 years at Georgia Tech. He's in his second year at Oklahoma. He's their leading scorer. But watch for this guy named Bryson Goodine. Okay, he's 6'10". He's taken 25 twos and I think 75 threes this year, and he makes them around 43%. So he's a difference maker. If you let him go out there and shooting darts and stuff, you know how it is. A team comes into your building, everyone's excited, and they start hitting some threes. Then you got problems. Florida needs to stay where they are defensively. They're a top 10 defensive team, which I think has been a really appreciated storyline for this season. What John Andrzejczyk has done as the first-year defensive coordinator, going from 94th last year to 8th. Florida's third in the country in guarding the three-point line, which is pretty damn good, obviously. Just don't, do your deal, play your defense. What Oklahoma doesn't do well is guard. Just take advantage of some things and take advantage of the mismatches you're going to have on that end of the floor, even, minus Alex Condon.
The Pouncey Twins provide all of Gator Nation with the highest quality liqueurs made by J.F. Hayden Craft Liqueurs. Find your favorite flavors at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. We got Chris Harry from FloridaGators.com. Chris, I wanted to ask you, do you remember you and I talking in the press box before kickoff of the Gasparilla Bowl against Tulane?
Okay.
You remember what I said to you about this basketball team?
You mean some about Jaden Daniels not being any good or something?
No,
Right.
no, that's a lie. I'm talking about the Gator basketball team. Do you remember what we talked about? I said, and then you had to go through the starting lineups of both teams.
Yeah.
You don't remember
No.
when I said that I thought this basketball team was better than the championship teams?
Oh, now I do remember that conversation we had. Yeah.
Yeah. Because my eyes told me then, because again, I know you won 2 national titles, and
Calm down.
Look, here's what I'm saying though. Here's what I'm saying.
Calm down. Yeah.
I think they're better offensively. I think they got better shooters. I think they're more athletic. Now you got guys that are played in the NBA for a long time and still playing. It's easy to say that because you already know what they've done. We don't know what this team has done or what they're going to do in the future, and they may not win the national title. But it's just like
They may not win two.
Coach Spurrier
tell
you his 2001 football team was the best team he had at Florida, but they didn't win anything. So here's why I like this team. Your 2 main guards were multi-sport athletes in high school. So if anybody listening to this has kids playing sports, middle school, pee-wee, whatever, play everything you can because it's going to make you a better player, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe Elijah Martin and Clayton Jr., I just love the backcourt because they were great football players too. But anyway,
Alex Condon, great Australian rules football player.
Correct.
Micah Hanlongton was apparently a great, get this, ready, lacrosse player. Can you imagine him running down the middle of the field with the stick up in the air? He looks like a giraffe to begin with.
Yeah.
So can you imagine running down like that? Will Richard was actually a 230-pound ninth grader and a defensive lineman like his father was at Clemson. So, to your point, all these guys. You tell me Tommy Hawk didn't play a bunch of sports. Look at the way he runs around like that. He was a great baseball player, probably. I don't even know this. I'm just coming off the top of my head, just the way he plays. But to your point, yeah, there is something to that, and I do appreciate guys that grew up playing a bunch of different sports, of course.
Yeah, and again, I'm going out on a limb here because we don't know what the team's going to do, and they may not win a national title, but I think they're way more athletic than that team, personally.
Well, they're certainly they play faster. They play a different style. Billy Donovan's teams play differently. Todd Golden's teams. I've talked about this a lot. He has his blueprint. He knows what he wants to do. Just like my point, he's never played 10 players. I don't think he's going to play 10 players. He doesn't. They're worried, like with the situation, with the injuries in the front court. Were they going to have to play Elijah Martin or Will at the 4 okay, because of what happened. And Micah obviously spared them that decision because he doesn't want to change how he plays because the way he plays, the way they run offense through the two bigs with the three perimeter players who can score, two bigs, the rim running and all that stuff. He the ball screens, high ball screen. Doesn't want to change it, and will he adjust if he has to? Of course. He had to, unfortunately, 2 years ago when they lost Colin Castleton and really had no front court threat to score. So adding Micah was obviously a godsend in this particular situation. And in the event that they do get these guys back, he'll have some decisions to make. But my goodness gracious, they're going to be. They look deep now. They looked deep the other night against South Carolina. John Stoneville was gushing about their depth during that game. I went back and watched it. If you think they look deep now, wait till these if they can get these two guys back.
Yeah, Buck says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mello, you're reaching a bit, QB. This team is a bit more athletic than 06, 07, but I put the 06, 07 teams up against any team ever. Well, yes, because you've seen what they did and you know the outcome of what they did. That's my point. It says guard play and defense cuts down the nets, though, and we have both. This backcourt is better than that backcourt. Nobody will convince me otherwise. I love Lee Humphrey. I think he's a tremendous shooter. I think Torian Green was a good player, but I'd take these two backcourt any day of the week.
Okay.
That's just my personal
Okay.
opinion.
Okay. I'll take back-to-back national champions.
Of course you would, because
And
you know what they did.
I'm not sliding these guys because I don't know what they've done. I don't know what they're going to do yet.
Okay, but let me ask you this. You take this backcourt and you put it on that team.
Mhm.
Now, what are you going to choose?
Well, that team played differently
That's what
because they played
that's my
three
point.
legitimate,
But, you know, it's
three
easy for
legitimate
everybody.
front court players, not three guards.
Yeah, but
This
my
is a-
point is,
Stop having this conversation.
okay,
Stop
but
having this conversation.
you want to talk about it in football, and I will tell you right now, the 2001 football team at Florida was as good as any team they had. Any of them.
Talent-wise?
Yes,
Okay.
easily.
I thought 97 could have been as good as a team that they had.
That too. I mean, the point of it is sometimes the better teams don't win a title.
Correct.
teams don't
Especially in a one and done nature of the way the championships are set up in college basketball. So
Chris, I mentioned this to Buddy. I was looking at the top 10 in basketball. I think any of these, because I think it's wide. I know Auburn, you got Auburn, Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, Duke. But if you look at the top
what about
10,
St. John's right now?
well, that's what I
St.
said.
John.
Buddy's like, St. John's ain't winning. I was like, Buddy, you obviously have not watched them play.
Good
And
grief.
they got a damn good coach. So
Right.
here's your top 10. I think any of these top 10 can win the national title. Auburn, Florida, Duke, Alabama, Houston, Tennessee, A&M, Iowa State, Texas Tech, and St. John's. I think your national champ will come from one of those 10.
Yeah. You said Iowa State. You bypassed Purdue for some reason. You give up
Well,
on Purdue
they're number
already.
13 in this poll that I'm looking at.
Oh, really? I see
Yeah.
them. They're okay. Oh, because they lost last week. Okay, yeah, this is last week's poll I'm looking at. Okay, yeah, I've seen Arizona is playing much better than they were. I think they had a loss last week. But yeah, to your point, I mean, I'm looking as we go down this line a little bit. I think what Todd has talked about, he goes, of the last, I want to say it's 15 national champs. They've all finished in the top 10, or excuse me, top 20 in both offensive and defensive efficiency. That was one of his goals heading into the season. Florida's not only in the top 20 in both, they're one of three teams that's in the top 10 in both. So that's something that bears watching. The other two are Duke and Houston. Houston, I think, is a mirror image of Florida in that Florida is great on offense and really good on defense. I think Houston is great on defense and really good on offense and gets a bunch of stuff from different guys. They're leading sort of different MVP. I mean, I think they got like 7 or 8 different guys that have been the Ken Palm game MVPs, whereas Florida's had like 6 or 7 of those also. Whereas you go to Duke, like it's always Cooper Flag. Or it's that Knubel guy or whatever he says his name. And at Auburn, it's always Janai Broome. But to your point, Alabama, I don't care what happened the other night. Alabama's certainly capable of making another run like last year. Tennessee is certainly capable. Texas A&M is really sleepy team right now. I hope the Gator fans appreciate that when they come here, when Texas A&M comes here, because I think they've come in here the last 3 times and won.
A&M's like that team that plays great defense in football, bores you to death on offense, but bam, they'll hit a big
Yeah.
play to put the game away.
The guy's a program builder. I'm not a big fan of his histrionics on the sidelines and the stuff he gets away with. But he obviously, I mean, look at it: Marquette, Virginia Tech. Now here he's got them all in NCAA tournaments and a couple of them and made Sweet 16s and stuff like that. Good, he's a really good coach. I imagine he may be somewhere else next year with some of these openings coming up too.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He'll be angling for another job. I think maybe it's just he does like 5 or 6 years somewhere, then he goes.
That's a good point. And he's won everywhere he's been. You're right.
Yes.
Where was this? Jimmy on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plum, says, Chris, who is the hot chick on your coffee mug?
Oh my God, that's my daughter, Jimmy. God.
Kevin on the Titan Mar text line says, let's let them play each other in an exhibition for NIL dollars. That would be a pretty good fundraiser.
Who?
The 06,
Play.
07 team,
Oh,
the national
okay.
title against this team at some point.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I'd take this team. The other team's kind of got some older guys
Yeah.
that can't really run up and down the court probably right now.
It's like that joke. It's like that joke they asked Michael Jordan, who'd win between the Chicago Bulls and the Golden State Warriors this year. He goes, I think we'd beat them by a couple points. Only by a couple points. He goes, yeah, we're all like 60 years old now.
Very true. All right, Chris, you said you real quick, last thing, Barone 71 on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plum, says, who do you think Florida State and Miami will hire?
Florida State and Miami. I like Sam Cassell at Florida State.
Really? He's still been an assistant for years in the NBA, right?
Yeah, and the other name is Luke Lautz, who was there. Luke Lauk, I think was his name. He was a Florida State player in the 2010, 11, something like that. Those guys are both have NBA or NBA assistants right now. I think Lautz is with Golden State. I don't know where Sam is now. Celtics? Is he with the Celtics? Cassell?
I have no idea. I don't watch the
Yeah.
NBA, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah. Okay. Miami. It's going to be, they're just going to shovel a bunch of money at someone. They'll get somebody. I don't know, but I think obviously Indiana's going to open. Virginia's going to be open. Who knows what's going to happen with North Carolina? There's going to be some big jobs out there, and there's some very familiar names in this conference who probably be tied to some of those jobs, I would think, because this conference has got a lot of attention for all the right reasons.
Yeah. You said you got a good article coming out. Tell us where they can see it.
I don't know if it's a good article, but it's an article. I just got it's just a little closer look, just a little game day post, a little closer look at how this depth has really manifested itself the last couple of weeks when it really has had to. Really think about the week ago or 2 weeks ago today, Walter wasn't playing, and like I said, Elijah wasn't playing the next 2 games to win at Auburn. I mean, without Elijah Martin, I think was kind of a flag to the talking heads around the country saying, well, maybe we should start paying attention to this team a little bit more, rightfully so.
I wanted to ask you this real quick before we get out of here. I said this on my show the other day, because we're pretty deep right now. We got a lot of players, and we play more players, I feel like, than other teams. But I feel like, did Todd learn this? Because that's kind of what Auburn does. Auburn runs waves of people at you. You think he learned that under Bruce Pearl?
I mean, he learned a lot under Bruce Pearl. When people ask, was Bruce Pearl your mentor? He says one of them, and one who really learned the most, I think, is Randy Bennett, who he played for at St. Mary's, and kind of helped him. He was a walk-on there who became a starting point guard on an NCAA tournament team. And Kyle Smith is now the head coach at Stanford, who was at Washington State last year and got them to the NCAA tournament. He was an assistant for him at, Columbia and at San Francisco. Those are his mentors, and I think Bruce has routinely played 10 guys. Okay, so like if some of his good teams have had a bunch of guys, and again, Bruce has his blueprint. I've said this before on the show. All his teams look the same. They run, they shoot, they score, they rebound, they guard. He knows what he's looking for and how he wants to play and recruits to it. Todd knows how he wants to play and recruits to that easier. But I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say their systems are that identical.
Well, I'm glad we don't play like St. Mary's.
They're good though.
They're
They're
very
a good
good.
team.
But, oh boy, they'll slow it down and put you to sleep.